Hi and welcome to the podcast of the WOOLapyk podcast. My name is Ida and this is a podcast about knitting. I am at a new location because we moved a month and a half, sort of. We went from a rental to a house that we bought, so this is the new house that we bought that we love, but we went from a rental, and so we sort of had both the rental and the house at the same time for a good month, and so we've kind of been both places at that time. But now we are completely out of the rental. We have painted the rental, made it all nice because we wanted to get as much as possible of our deposit back. So that was quite stressful, having to paint two houses, and especially painting a rental that we were not gonna live in was kind of annoying to use time and money on as well. But that is done and we are now here, and there's still a lot of things that we need to do, a lot of things, but there's also a lot of things that we have done. It's a house that has quite a big basement, so basically the basement is the same size as the main part of the house. So we have all the clutter down in the basement, so all the boxes and everything that we have not unpacked are down there. So doesn't mean that there isn't any messes up here, because there is, and we have two kids plus a teenager. And we are also quite messy ourselves, so we still have messes up here, but we are just not walking around in boxes, which is so nice. So I don't think I'm going to talk more about that. I'm talking a bit more about it on Patreon, but we are really happy here, and we feel very lucky that we got to buy a house. It's something that we've been wanting to do for a very, very long time, but first time buyers, it's kind of a difficult market here in Denmark. I think it is in a lot of places in the world, and especially where we wanted to buy, which is quite close to Copenhagen. It's just expensive. But we found a house that was that we could afford, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be here. And we got it at a good price, because I think a lot of other people who would have considered buying this house would have probably done a lot of renovating. I don't know why I can't say that, but they probably would, and I think that's why they set the price maybe a little bit lower, because they thought that was kind of what they had to do for people to buy it. But we really love it. It's a house from '69, and it has very kind of typical elements from that time, which we love. I love it maybe a little bit more than my husband, but brown cupboards and bathroom. We have like a brown bathroom and we have a blue bathroom, and we've kept most of it. We've done a bit of renovation in the kitchen just to make it a little bit bigger. We've replaced the countertop, but we still have all the original cupboards, and kind of just move stuff around basically. And so definitely we've been renovating on a budget. And we love it. So anyway, I have not been knitting as much as I wanted, obviously, because we've been doing moving and that takes time. And I've actually been working more on one project at a time, which I usually don't do, but that's kind of all my head could manage apparently when we were moving as well. But I have a finished object, which is still a little bit wet, which is why I'm not wearing it. By the way, I am wearing my Snowy Forest sweater by what's her name? Hidori Mose, which is a pattern from Lane magazine. You can probably buy it as a single pattern as well, because it was like in their, I don't know, one of the first editions of the Lane magazine. I knit mine, so the pattern doesn't call for any short row shaping, but I did some short row shaping anyways, which I think was, let me just see it here, up here. So I did just some stockinette stitch before I did the cable. I don't think I should have done that. I think because it sits weirdly, I kind of have to just rearrange it all the time, and I think it's because of the short rows, so it kind of pulls down, and with the pattern it doesn't work. So just follow the instructions. Do not make any short rows on this one. It's the same pattern designer who made the ranunculus sweater, which is kind of, I think it's the same shape with just some different patterns on there. So just trust the pattern. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot better than doing short row shaping in the back. It has a deep armhole here, and I knitted in my own yarn. I think I did organic DK and some silk mohair that I dyed myself a long time ago. But anyway, so back to the finished object, which is the Constellation sweater by Ozetta. And kind of hard to see, it's just a big blue beast of a sweater. This grew quite a lot during blocking. It's still damp, so it may just, maybe it's gonna shrink just a tiny bit. I hope so. The sleeves are ginormously long. I've been talking about sleeves earlier on in my podcast because they always tend to ride up and be kind of this length. So I knit them and they are probably here, and then I wear them. And I think with felting, I also heard somebody talk about, obviously elbow takes up some space. They just continue to be just a tiny bit too short for what I really like. And so with this one I was like, this is a big warm sweater. I don't want it to have too short sleeves, and it definitely doesn't have too short sleeves. I'm gonna try to put it on and do some add some footage of me wearing it, maybe when I talk about it, and so you can see what I mean. I did take some footage of me wearing it before blocking, so I'm gonna add that for sure, and then also after blocking. It's not that big of a deal. I can roll up the sleeves, it's gonna be fine. They're also quite tight, so I can even just wear it and they're not gonna, let's see here, I'm gonna show you easier. So they sit quite tightly here around my wrist, so they're not gonna fall down above my hand because they're as tight as they are. But it looks kind of funny with all this extra fabric here, so I think I'm gonna fold up the hem instead, or the sleeves, not the hem. I knit this in Fritzesgarn in the blue color, and it's a 100% Norwegian wool, I think. Pretty sure. If not, I'm gonna write it here, but I'm pretty sure it's a 100% Norwegian wool, which I've never knit in before. It's quite affordable and rustic, but I don't really find it scratchy. And I would say after washing it, it feels quite soft as well. So but I would never knit this for my kids. They wouldn't wear this at all. They would find it way too scratchy. So definitely on the more rustic side, but fine for me, I guess. You see the yarn here, actually. That's what it looks like before. Just a nice blue, dark blue color. So the sweater is knit. It doesn't have raglan. I don't know what you call the construction, to be honest, but like a classical raglan would have 4 points for if you knit it top down, also bottom up basically, but it would have 4 points where you would do, and if you knit it top down, you would do increases on the front and the back, and the front. And this is around yoke, and then you would do just equal decreases all the way around the yoke as well. This one, I don't know what it's called, but what I did here was just doing increases along, there's like a ribbed detail here, and then you do your increases here, which was new to me. I've never done that before. And it makes so that you have that detail here is running from the ribbing from the neckline all the way down till here, where I didn't pick up and knit the sleeves. And I don't really know if I like that. I don't really find that it sits that well on my body. There is a lot of extra fabric here. Again, look at the pictures. I hope I'm gonna add the pictures, because that's gonna make it a lot easier for you to see what I talk about. A lot of extra fabric here, so kind of on the side there's just sort of fabric pulling out here and on the back here, and I don't really know what to think about it. So it may work itself out when I wear it, and sort of just when the fabric relaxes a bit more, it may not be as visible. It's also a little more oversized than I thought it would be. Too big. So it could also just be that I knit it a size too big. But overall I'm happy with it. It's just not really, I wanted something that replaced that blue October sweater that Jakob felted. I'm not going to talk about it, but you can see previous episodes about that story, that he felted, and I wanted this one to kind of replace that, and it's not going to replace it. This is more sort of a cozy home sweater, or cozy kind of like going to the woods, make a fire sweater, and I'm also obviously going to wear it to all other kinds of events, because I'm not really that particular about my clothes in that way, that I feel like some clothes can't be worn. I probably wouldn't wear it to a wedding, but I would wear it to a lot of other things as well. But it's just a little more, I don't know how to say it. The October sweater felt a little more fancy, I guess. And a little more sort of, I felt a bit more put together when I wore the October sweater than I think I'm gonna feel when I wear this. This is more kind of a cozy, warm, nice sweater. And so I decided that I am gonna knit the October sweater again, not in a blue color, because now I have my blue sweater, but in another color, obviously, when it's not blue. But that's a side note. I missed my October sweater. I only had it for 3 weeks. So I need to get another one on the needle at some point. But yeah, this was the Constellation sweater by Ozetta, and if I remember, I'll do a bit more of an update on it when I actually wear it. It was fun to knit, easy to knit, the instructions were easy to follow, and I don't really have anything to sort of bad about the pattern or the pattern writing, but it's definitely a different shape than any other sweaters that I have, which is also fun, you know, to try something new, and then you kind of figure out what type of sweater do you prefer, what do you like on your body. For my preference is drop shoulders. I find that they are, for my body type, drop shoulders, split hem are my favorites of a sweater to wear. But you know, you could also, who knew, maybe this would have been my new favorite pattern or favorite shape of a sweater. It's not, but it could have been. Yeah, and this also actually has a split hem, so that is always nice. Like I said, I find that those are the best for me to wear. What else? Oh yeah, I knit. The sleeves are sort of the same length. On one of the sleeves, I ended up working with a needle size smaller than what I did with the whole, like what I did for the body. I think I knit 10 centimeters before I found out, and then I switched to the right needles. I started counting one sleeve, and there were X amount of stitches, and then I counted the other one, and there were a lot fewer stitches, and I was like, that is weird, because they kind of look like they're the same length. So I did a lot of recounting until I remembered that the first sleeve I had knit with a smaller needle, so I couldn't do my kind of count the rows to make sure that I have the same amount of rows on each sleeve. So I just kind of winged it, and when I blocked it, I made sure that they had the same amount of centimeters for each sleeve. I cast on for the Calm Down cardigan by Lily France, I think her name is. Also a new designer that I've never knit. Anton has been knitting with it, and when he knits, he just kind of pulls the yarn through, or the needle through, multiple times, and it's all a big mess. I can see. But yeah, it's the Calm Down cardigan by Lily Kate France, and yeah, I am using yarns from Thibaut Hand Dyed and Biche Bouche. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. It's a French name, and I have never had French in school, but it's a French company run by two Danish ladies, or mom and daughter, I think. And I got this yarn. This is the silk mohair from Biche Bouche. I got this originally for something else that I wanted to knit with this yarn from Thibaut Hand Dyed. I can't remember what my original plans was, but they were bought. This was bought to fit with this one. So, but I just made different plans, and I'm now knitting the Calm Down cardigan. I don't have enough yarn, which I knew. I knew going into this that I would not have enough yarn, but I really wanted to use this yarn specifically. This is a. Do I have the bow band? I don't. It's a 100%, no, maybe not 100%. It's a Gotland wool and merino wool. I think it's 75% Gotland wool and 25% merino, something around there. Hand dyed by Thibaut Hand Dyed. And then this is the Le Petit Silk and Mohair by Biche Bouche. See, I have the ball band here. And it is in the color red brown, and they go so well together. Let's see here, just beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, I wanted to use the yarn because I wanted the cardigan to have a bit more structure. I didn't want it to be too floppy, so I thought it would be perfect with this more rustic yarn for that cardigan. And I've just decided I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do when I run out of yarn, which is a bad plan, but that's how my brain works, because I also actually ran out of yarn for the blue sweater, the constellation sweater, but there's a yarn store nearby that had another skein, different nylon, but you can't tell, it's completely the same color. And I have also run out of other sweaters, run out of yarn lately with other sweaters, so apparently that's just a theme at this point in my life. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knit the yoke, and then I'm gonna knit the sleeves, and then we'll see how much yarn I have left. The button band is a double knitted button band, and I'm thinking that I wrote Anna Sophie, which is the dyer behind Thibaut, and to see if she had some yarn that would be close in color. Obviously it's not going to be the same color because this is hand dyed and it's naturally dyed, so but maybe she had something that kind of was in the same color. That would be nice. I'm still waiting to hear back from her. I have also looked at Raumagarn. They have their Finoot, which kind of runs the same length as this one. This one is 400 meters per 100 grams, and Rauma is 175 meters per 50 grams. So not completely, but very close enough that I would be fine with using it. They have a few colors that looks very similar to this color. I've only seen them online, and I would like to see them in real life, but that would mean that I have to find a yarn store, and I don't know if I have any yarn stores close to me. I was looking online, but there is one close to me, but they don't carry that specific color that I found online. But if I don't hear back from Anne-Sophie or if she doesn't have anything close in color to this one, I'm gonna try and order a few skeins. There are 2 skeins that I think kind of look like this one, and see which one of those would work the best for pairing with this one. That's the plan. I also need to find, I think, a skein or 2 more of the silk mohair, but that should be easier because it's just busy bush. So I'm not really worried about that. But I guess I should just order it as well, so I'm sure that I have it. But that's the plan with the yarn. Now let's look at the pattern. This is, as far as I've gotten, it's a very different construction that again, I've never tried knitting a construction like this. Oh, Anton, he has pulled out, look at this, all these stitches. Ooh. Nice with a little hopper. Okay, I'm just gonna talk while I try to save those stitches. So annoying. I'm glad it's a rustic yarn, so the stitches aren't as slippery. Anyway, I'm gonna try and talk about the construction, why I do this. So it's knitted where you you start out by knitting one front panel, then you knit, so you knit that fully, so all the way down to the underarm. Then you do kind of the same on the other side, but you only knit the shoulder part up here, and then you pick up and then you knit the back, and then you pick up and knit the other front part of the cardigan, which is something I haven't done, and it was very difficult for me to understand what she meant. It wasn't there's a lot of text in the pattern. I find it a little difficult to understand. It may be because it's very different, like the construction is different from what I'm used to, so I can't really, I don't find that I can use my previous knitting experience in knitting this, if that makes sense. So you always sort of, at least I do, when you knit something top down or a cardigan, you kind of have an idea about what the construction is going to be, and when you have that image in your head, it also makes it easier to read the pattern, because you kind of know what it looks like because you've done it before, so you kind of know what the construction looks like. And this, because I haven't done it before, I had to rely a lot more on the pattern and the text in the pattern, and that was just difficult for me to understand. I'm gonna be honest, very difficult. So what I did, and a little tip, which you may or may already do yourself, but if there's something in the pattern that's unclear and I just don't really understand what the pattern writer wants me to do, I will go on a Ravelry or on Instagram and I will search on that pattern. So what I did is I went on Instagram and I searched calm down cardigan, like the hashtag, and I went through, because I was looking for process pictures of other people who had knitted the cardigan, and luckily I did find a few pictures that kind of showed the cardigan at the stage where I was at, and then I could see what they had done. And then having that picture, it makes sense to me. I just don't know if I would have understood it had I not found the picture of other people doing what they're supposed to do, or what the pattern told them to do. I'm gonna just knit to the end here while I continue talking. Yeah, so I don't really know what to say when I knit this, because I kind of wanted to show you what it looks like. The reason I am not the reason, but one of the reasons that I ended up casting on this cardigan, because I actually have 2 other swatches ready to go that I also want to knit. But the reason I chose this one is because there's a great big deal of stockinette stitch, and I am gonna go to Berlin in a few weeks, and we are gonna take the bus there. So I wanted to make sure that I had a nice, simple stockinette stitch project that I could just bring along with me and knit on while we were driving there. I think the bus takes 7 hours from Copenhagen to Berlin, and I just wanted something to work on that was easy and simple. And so I'm working on this because I kind of want to get past all the shaping and just joining on front and back and all that. So I just have the body and very simple stockinette stitch, or the sleeve as well, to work on. I want to show you this. Side note, this has nothing to do with anything, but I just got this at Fiberfolk. I love it. Come on, show. Let's see. Stitch marker. Anyway, it's in here. Yeah. So let me just get to the end here, and I can show you more of the cardigan. But I'm planning on bringing this, and then I'm planning on, if I get to work on another project, I want to bring that one as well. So this is the cardigan so far. And what I talked about was, I tried to tell you, so I knitted the front panel here, and then after I did that one, I cast on here. You can see that's like a rib detail here. Cast that on, and then instead of doing like I did here, which was I cast on for the, I'm gonna show you. I feel like I'm really bad at explaining things today. I do apologize. So you start on by casting on for the rib detail, then you knit X amount of stitches here, then you, for the front, or the first part, I picked up here and then knit down. And then I thought I'm going to do the same thing for the other part, obviously, which I was not going to do. I was only going to knit the rib part here, and then I was going to do the back all the way down here. And then Jakob's coming home now. And then I'm going to do the back first before I do, before I do the front. And that was just, apparently I couldn't figure that out just by reading it. And I wouldn't say it was particularly clear either, but I found out how to do it. I also ended up doing more stitches here in the rib, because you're supposed to pick up X amount of stitches here. I'm obviously not going to say how many because it's a paid for pattern. You're supposed to do X amount of stitches here, pick them up, and then knit them, and I could not. There was just too few stitches here for me to pick up, so I ended up casting on more stitches to make it work. Jakob is doing stuff right behind me, so ignore. Sorry about that. Getting completely distracted by him sitting right across from me right now. Yeah, so that's the Combined cardigan. I'm gonna only work on this until I have it at a point where I feel like it is gonna be an easy traveling project. I have 300 grams of this yarn here, and I'm pretty sure I need at least 100 grams more to have enough to knit the cardigan. Yeah, but you know, I have a plan for that. Also, I have another plan, and that is making the sleeves a lot more narrow, because they are quite wide and I don't want them to be too wide. So I thought that would be a way of saving a bit of yarn as well. My Fiberfolk bag here. This is the newest pin for this year. We just had Fiberfolk earlier this month. And that was the newest pin that a lot of people wanted to purchase, which was nice. We always discuss a bit about how many do we need to order, because we also don't want to have a huge amount of pins left afterwards. Anyway, so I made a swatch for the Colette Pullover by Sari Nordlund. I did the first round up here with the recommended needle size, and that was way too small. Then I went up a needle size, or maybe even 2 needle sizes, I don't know. And this one is better. I made this a while ago, so I honestly can't remember if it's spot on or if I'm off, but I will figure that out once I get to it. I also can't remember what needle size I used, which is stupid, so maybe I have to redo the whole thing. Usually I will do knots here, so if, for example, if I'm using a size 4 needle, I would do 4 knots, and then I would know that that was 4 needles, and I don't know why I didn't do that here. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna have to redo the whole thing, which is, I guess it's okay, because it's been a while anyway. That's stupid. Anyway, I know that I have to go up at least 1 needle size to get the gauge, so I guess that I should just do that and then see if it would work. The yarn that I am using is the Fiberco Arcadia here. There you can see it, and it is a blend of silk, noil, baby alpaca, and merino wool, and this is the Summer Sweet colorway, and I have 10 skeins of this. So let's see, the yarn that the pattern calls for is a strand of silk mohair, I think, and a strand of fingering weight, but this is a DK weight, and it works out. I like the look of these cables. My battery is flashing at me. We'll see how far I get, but that is the plan for the swatch, and this yarn is that it's gonna be a Colette pullover. Hopefully I'm gonna make it this year. That would be nice. I've been talking about it for a while now. See quickly if I could get the last bit shown before the camera shuts off. Hurry up, hurry up. I also did a swatch with for the Augustins number something that I talk about. It's a sweater that has a colorwork motif with bows on the yoke, and I originally thought I could just get away with using this yarn on its own to get gauge, which did not work out. And then I found this soft silk mohair that I have. This yarn is Peergynt from Senders, and this is Knit Reduce soft silk alpaca, and I hit gauge with that. So at some point, which is probably not going to be before the fall, I am going to knit the Augustins number 4 or 6, I think. In this yarn I have a red contrast color for the color work that I'm going to use. I'm gonna turn off now and say thank you so much for watching. The camera is, like I said, is flashing at me, or the battery, so I'm getting a bit nervous that I'm not going to be able to finish off in a good way. But thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.